there are 5 teams that are 3-0, undefeated right now in the NFL. You have Denver, you got the Raiders, Arizona, the Rams, and Carolina. And I want to rank these 5 undefeated teams. In my opinion, the very best 3-0 team in the NFL is the LA Rams. And they're not just the best undefeated team in the NFL. Of the 5, they're the best. But they're also arguably, if not the very best team in the entire NFL. And that's pretty unanimously agreed with. They're the top of everyone's power rankings. LA's fantastic. They're a really, really good football team. Everybody knows about the Rams' new star quarterback, Matthew Stafford. They traded for him this offseason. Their coach, Sean McVay, is an offensive genius. The way they work together is so cool. They have a lot of fun together. Receiver Cooper Kupp is literally leading pretty much every category in the NFL. Defensive tackle Aaron Donald is a guy who's in the running for Defensive Player of the Year every single year. Now, in my opinion, the guy who isn't talked about enough, and I don't think people forget about him, it's just that the other stars, Matthew Stafford, McVay himself, Cooper Kupp, Aaron Donald, these other players in LA are so good and so attention-grabbing that I think it makes people, let Jalen Hurts get lost in the narrative. The Rams have a star shutdown corner, Jalen Ramsey as well. Did I say Jalen Hurts? I meant Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey, this incredible corner who, he's, if not the best corner in the NFL, he's right there. He's a top 3 corner in the NFL. And I don't hear his name talked about anywhere. I'm like, I get it. Aaron Donald's amazing. Cooper Kupp's amazing. Matthew Stafford's amazing. But don't forget how loaded this football team is. They also have Jalen Ramsey. Team has everything. An offensive line that's really good. Andrew Whitworth is 40 years old at left tackle, who I was concerned about, but he's playing pretty well. Can he stay healthy? That's literally the only question for the Rams is, can Andrew Whitworth, their left tackle, play all year, which he's done for 16 years in a row. So Andrew Whitworth, you can doubt him, but he's never given you a reason to doubt him. So other than, hey, he's old, but he's playing at a high level and he's never missed. It's just, Andrew Whitworth is incredible. They got a great defense in LA. They have a great quarterback. They've got a great coach. They've got a great receiver, Cooper Kupp. And then the one little kind of scary weakness the Rams had to start the year. Their running back, Cam Akers, got hurt, tore his Achilles. He's out for the year. Well, they made a trade. They said, we're going to go get former first-round pick Sony Michel from New England, traded for him. And then when you pair Sony Michel, who has never really quite lived up to his status as a first-round pick, put him within Sean McVay's offensive system, his scheme, his play design, you're looking at Sony Michel being put in a position to finally live up to that status of a first-round pick that he never really has until I think this year. He's doing better. People aren't paying attention because the numbers aren't very good. But watch the way Sony Michel runs the football. He's doing a great job, and he's really filling the need exactly like LA needed him to. So the Rams are loaded, in my opinion. And I am very, very curious. When are the Rams going to lose their first football game? I don't know. And in my opinion, they are not only Super Bowl contenders, they should be, right now, after 3 weeks, the Super Bowl favorite. Number 2, the second best 3-0 team, undefeated team in the NFL is the NFC West Rams division rivals, the Arizona Cardinals. And I wondered, when will the Rams lose their first game of the year? Could it be week 4? We have Cardinals at Rams coming up October 3rd on Sunday in LA. Going to be fun. And only one team is going to walk away from that game undefeated. But Arizona has a star quarterback in their own right, Kyler Murray. He's fantastic. He can do stuff running the football. That is ridiculous. He is so... Lamar is the fastest quarterback in the NFL. It's a really, really strong conversation, though. If you had to pick one guy, not to run 70 yards, but to just get to the outside, to beat linebackers to the edge, I don't know that you'd pick Lamar over Kyler. It's a definite conversation. That's how quick in short bursts Kyler Murray is. And not to mention, Kyler has an amazing arm. Kyler, I love Lamar. Kyler's got a way better arm than Lamar Jackson. He's just an electric, amazing quarterback. Then you look at Arizona's receiving options. It's ridiculous. They have DeAndre Hopkins, A.J. Green, Christian Kirk, Andy Isabella. Jalen Ramsey can only guard one receiver at a time. And then you look at Arizona's defensive line. They've been dominant as well. J.J. Watt, Chandler Jones, they're leading the way off the edge. Arizona's tied right now for fourth most sacks in the NFL through 3 games with 10 of them. They're getting after quarterbacks. Now, the Cardinals, in my opinion, were not as convincing, though, as the Rams through the first 3 games of the year. They barely beat Minnesota week 2. They got lucky. The Vikings literally missed the game-winning field goal. That's why Arizona won week 2 against Minnesota. Then in week 3, they beat Jacksonville, which simply is not an impressive win. I don't look at beating Jacksonville as a, whoa, wow, what a win. So, I don't know. They look good. Arizona should probably be 2-1 right now. They should have lost to Minnesota. But they look good. It's nice to be 3-0. Enjoy it. But in my mind, and I love Arizona. I got burned. I was a big believer in them last year. They kind of burned me. And maybe I was a year too early. I try not to let that cloud my judgment. People always accuse me of letting that happen. I don't. But I still, and I'm not a hater. I want Arizona to be great. I love Kyler. I don't want Cliff Kingsbury to be fired. I want it to work out. But I still think Arizona has a lot to prove this year. And there are 3 games this year, I guess 3, 4. There's some games this year that are going to teach us a lot about this Arizona football team. Week 6, they play at Cleveland. It's a big deal. Week 8 against Green Bay. Week 17 at Dallas. Can they go on the road and beat Cleveland? Can they go on the road and beat Dallas? Can they beat the Rams? Week 4 on the road. Can they got 2 games against the 49ers this year. Those are the games that will be the defining games of their season. The Cardinals can beat up on bad teams. Probably should have lost to Minnesota. But how do they play against some of the best teams in the NFL? Are they that good yet? I don't know. I want to believe in Arizona. I just don't trust them yet. I'm just not ready to say they're going to go on the road and beat some of the best teams in the NFL, at the Rams, at Cleveland. And that, once I see that, hey, then I get it. Then I can support that. But until I see them win a big game on the road against a Super Bowl contender, until then, I am skeptical, although hopeful they will do well. If they beat the Rams this weekend, and what if they beat the Rams by 3 touchdowns, you bet your bippy I'm going to be all in on Arizona. But I don't trust them to do that yet. Now, the 3rd best undefeated team in the NFL, it's a tricky answer, right? It's going to make... Well, I'll pick a side. Fair enough. The Denver Broncos are the 3rd best undefeated team in the NFL. And number 1, here's the elephant in the room. Denver's beaten 3 awful football teams. The Giants, the Jaguars, and the Jets. 2 rookie quarterbacks. Those teams are combined 0-9. So it's not like these are massive, impressive wins for Denver. And the reality is that ranking Denver ahead of the Las Vegas Raiders, who are also 3-0, it was a coin flip between Denver and the Raiders. Both teams are 3-0. Denver's got a better roster, in my opinion. But I will admit, very openly, the Raiders have a better resume. They've beaten better football teams. And they've got a better quarterback, Derek Carr. I'm a huge... Derek Carr does not get the respect he's deserved. The Raiders beat the Ravens, Pittsburgh, and then Miami 3 weeks in a row. Last year, those teams all had won 10 games or more. So the Raiders, in spite of a really tough opening few games, they're 3-0. They're undefeated. And they won some ways that were week 1, Monday Night Football, the Ravens game, unbelievable. That's a really good team win. The game I can't wait for, week 6, we get the Raiders at the Broncos, a division matchup. And we get to learn once and for all which team is better. And they probably won't both be undefeated by week 6. Maybe they will be, but I don't think so. But I'm not going to forget, when week 6 comes around, I'm going to reference when they were both 3-0. And the debates people are having right now, which team is better. Because it'll be fun to find out, are the Raiders better or the Broncos better? That's what I cannot wait to see. We're going to find out week 6. Now, so far, through 3 games, the Raiders have... the most explosive offense in the NFL. They lead the NFL in total offense. Derek Carr, the Raiders quarterback, has thrown for already 3 games in 1,200 yards passing, a little more than 1,200 yards. He's on pace to shatter, absolutely obliterate the NFL record for passing yards in a single year. And it's by more than just 1 game, because I know there's an extra game this year. He's going to do it if he stays on this pace, which I don't think he will. But the pace Derek Carr is on, he's on a pace to throw for over 6,000 yards passing. That's and like 6,700, like a lot, way more than 6,000. He's going to slow down eventually, in my opinion, but that's still an insane number. And the Raiders' young receivers, Bryan Edwards, Henry Ruggs. I love Hunter Renfrow. Hunter Renfrow is the most underrated slot receiver in the NFL. He does such good work, man. Hunter Renfrow, the Raiders slot receiver, Bryan Edwards, explosive down the sideline. Henry Ruggs can burn everybody. The guy who gets no glory is Hunter Renfrow. He is a guy who is like technically perfect. Catches the ball. He's not a great athlete, right? Like Henry Ruggs is frankly like a way better athlete. He can do more. He's capable of more. He's more fun to watch. But to me, Hunter Renfrow is the guy who, unsung hero, catches the ball, turns upfield for like 10 yards, makes him like just such a good, technically sound football player who gets first downs. He catches passes, he turns and falls for first downs over and over and over again. I just think Hunter Renfrow is incredibly underrated. And then you got tight end Darren Waller, who's a matchup nightmare. So Bryan Edwards, Henry Ruggs, Darren Waller, and then the underrated guy, Hunter Renfrow. It's so fun to watch this offense. And Derek Carr could win MVP this year. Derek Carr is playing out of his mind. So, I don't know. The team around Derek Carr is finally getting better. I think it's going to allow people to finally give him the respect that he's deserved. Like, people are finally starting to realize, Derek Carr is really good. And I was like, dude, did you watch him when he should have won the MVP a couple years ago and broke his back? Like, Derek Carr is unbelievable. Now, Denver's quarterback, Teddy Bridgewater, so far has been one of the biggest shocks of the year for me watching. I watch him every week, and I'm like, and look, he's playing the best football of his career. And I understand that the Broncos have played the Jets and the Jaguars and the Giants, like bad, terrible, weak opponents. But it's not about the other team that's impressing me about Teddy Bridgewater. It's that, he shattered his knee a couple of years ago, and now his knee looks better than ever. He's fully healed. His ability to move is better than I've ever seen in his career. The way he's moving in the pocket, his footwork, the way he's keeping plays alive. Like, Teddy Bridgewater needs to get some respect for the way he's playing. And then his mechanics are way better. I did not expect at all to see Teddy Bridgewater's arm get stronger this year. I'm like, am I seeing? And it really is true. Like, his mechanics are better. He's getting more behind the ball. He's driving the ball better downfield. It's really cool to see. And you know what Teddy looks like? Frankly, Teddy Bridgewater looks a lot like Drew Brees. And it's in this way. The way that Teddy looks like Drew Brees is his mechanics, his footwork, his accuracy, his decision-making. But it's less. Decisions are great. He's playing bad defenses. But what it is the mechanical rhythm of his game and the mechanical. He throws a corner route, and it looks like Drew Brees film. You're like, that's the same mechanics and footwork as Drew Brees throwing a corner route in New Orleans. And it makes sense because Teddy spent time as Drew's backup in New Orleans. And I wonder, did he spend the entire offseason copying his mechanics? Something happened there because Teddy looks way better and really, really good. And on another note, you have to understand. This is Teddy Bridgewater's first year in the Pat Shurmur offense in Denver. And when I watch Teddy play, I cannot believe it's year one. Because he's making decisions so quickly. He's precise. He knows exactly where he's going with the football. If read number one isn't there, bang, bang, bang. He knows exactly where to go. Find his check down. Find his third, fourth read. It's like, dude, Teddy's on top of it. There's a very obvious reason why Teddy Bridgewater beat Drew Lock in that quarterback battle. And it's because it must not have even been close. Because Teddy is light years ahead of what I've ever seen Drew Lock play with. Teddy has mastered the offense in Denver. And then Denver's roster is loaded. So if Teddy Bridgewater keeps playing like Drew Brees, Denver legitimately could win a Super Bowl this year or be in the conversation for a Super Bowl. So Denver, do not overlook Denver as an undefeated team that is a lot better than people are giving them credit for. Finally, the worst of the best. The Carolina Panthers are the fifth best 3-0 team in the NFL. I love Carolina. And not just the state, not just the people. I love all of it. The owner, the coach, Sam Darnold, the quarterback, the general manager, making moves, trading for really good players, do you understand? They stole Sam Darnold from the Jets. Their starting quarterback, who's going to be their franchise quarterback maybe for next 10 years. We're 3 games in. I know that's a wild claim, but my point is do you understand how much thievery has gone on with Carolina, the way they built they just stole C.J. Henderson from the Jaguars for a no-name tight end, Dan Arnold, who I like better than people realize, but still, that's their defense is going to be good for 6, 7, 10 years with C.J. Henderson, J.C. Horn, and Jeremy Chin. It's I can't believe the moves they're making in Carolina. It's unbelievable. This team is building something at Carolina. They're 3-0. Yeah, their record, in my opinion, is less impressive when you realize that they're dominating rookie quarterbacks. They beat Zach Wilson. And then they didn't even beat, the Broncos beat Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson. Carolina beat Zach Wilson and Davis Mills, the Houston Texans, who are just a train wreck. And then, by the way, week 2, when Carolina beat New Orleans, the Saints were missing a ton of coaches because of COVID. So it's not like it's the most impressive resume I've ever seen from Carolina. But they do have a ton of winnable games ahead. Look at Carolina's schedule. Philly, Minnesota, Atlanta twice, the Giants, Washington. I love Carolina. And the reason why Carolina, in my opinion, is the 5th-ranked undefeated team, this is why. I do not believe that Carolina can beat a really good football team yet, a Super Bowl contending football team. At Dallas, week 4, I think they lose. I think they're going to lose in this upcoming game on October 3rd on Sunday. But we're going to learn a lot about Carolina in this game. Where do they really, it's a good litmus test. Where do they really match up? Against Dallas, I was very down on coming into the year. Dallas is fantastic. They've got an incredible group of players on offense. The offensive line's better than I would have expected. They're aging, but they're playing at a high level. And, can Carolina beat Buffalo on the road week 15? I don't think so. We'll see. I like Sam. It's year 1, though. At best case scenario, Carolina makes the wild card and then loses in the wild card round of the playoffs. But that's a good year. That's incredible. If that's the year they have, there's nothing to be upset about with that. Because Carolina's building something. Their Super Bowl window, I don't think is opened yet this year, but next year it's going to open. And then they got a while because their roster's so chock full of young talent. As a team, they're still developing. It's year 1 with a new quarterback, Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold, 3 games into a rebirth of his career, still proving himself every week. Their defense is young. I wanted to be clear. I am not hating on Carolina when I rank them as the worst of the best undefeated football teams. Their future's incredible. But let's wait a little bit, let them develop a little bit before we raise expectations in Carolina to Super Bowl or bust, because that's unrealistic and not fair to the young guys who are still figuring it out. But Carolina, the future is very, very bright.